Hello everybody, it is Joey from the Chart Guys. I've been trading for 7 years, learning under Dan for 6 of them, and now I'm down here living in North Carolina, about 20 minutes away from him, and I'm here to talk about some crypto. We got bulls afoot today after a solid pullback off of the highs and bulls really struggling to put a foot in the ground. We have them seeing a very nice daily bounce at this point. So this is the hourly chart we are looking at. We can see we had a tightening range for a couple days there, and then we broke bull with big time follow through. And what that is doing is it is negating a potential daily bear flag here. So we're looking at the daily chart. We now have created enough room for a daily higher low next time we consolidate compared to 38,555. So this is a very nice move. And, as the title of the stream says and the thumbnail, is the Bitcoin bottom in? Well, we can say we certainly have some form of temporary bottom. But as far as, macro, is this a bottom where bulls can just keep on going on we'll look at the 6-month time frame. We know we're not going to lose track that a 6-month lower high wouldn't shock us. But as we've been saying here for several weeks now, the guide is going to be the weekly 12 EMA. And we have bulls defending it. They would have liked to hold it a little bit tighter, of course, but at this point, they've wicked way up and above it, and we got a couple days left on the weekly candle. So unless something drastically changes, it's looking like bulls are going to hold that weekly 12 EMA, which is what they want to see. So if they're going to really, truly hold it, what's the next step from here? It's going to be confirming a daily uptrend. So we know we've got at least a temporary bottom in, but if we want to say, all right, the weekly 12 EMA is acting as support, and we've got a weekly higher low set off of it, bulls are going to need to confirm a daily uptrend when this bounce tops out. So as far as the guide for this daily bounce, we'll stick with our 4-hour uptrend. And we had our nice move off of the low, 4-hour tightening range, and then bull break. And shout out to Rob G pulling over. Let me pull over Slack here real quick. This is what we've got going on in the Slack community. 3:09 a.m. We got people all over the world, so that's Rob's daytime, and he's here watching the 4-hour TTM squeeze and tightening range, and that is about as straightforward as a play that you can get, where you have very clear support and resistance levels. And let's just go from the first breakout level. We're up nearly 5% from that. So shout out to Rob for being on top of that. And we'll just watch our 4-hour uptrend from here. So when this 4-hour stair step breaks, we'll have consolidation underway, and anything over 39,550 would be a 4-hour higher low. And bulls want to hold the 4-hour EMAs. They crossed bearish at the highs not long after the sell the news, and now they're crossing bullish again. So just as bears defended these the whole way down, it's not like it was perfectly clean, but bulls weren't able to get up and over in any meaningful fashion. Bulls now want to do that to the upside. So if we lose these 4-hour EMAs, that'll be the first sign that daily consolidation is shaping up. And now that I say that, maybe it wouldn't be the worst look if we did lose these EMAs at this point, because we have to visualize if we're going to get the daily trend change, we're going to need to pull back and then get the higher low and higher high. So if we're pulling back, and we can just go over to the 4-hour from here, I guess, perhaps they could be held, but it seems unlikely that they would. That's the nested time frame nature. Like, we will likely lose 4-hour EMAs on daily consolidation. And at this point, bulls have already bounced enough to have room for that daily higher low. So if you were not playing aggressively off the lows and you're looking for a position, this is now the conservative trader's weekly higher low attempt that we were talking about last week, or maybe it was Monday, of the different degrees of traders and approaches of how someone's going to want to go about this. The more conservative was waiting for a daily bounce big enough to create room for a higher low and then try to go for the trend change. So if you're feeling FOMO because you're not already in, remember that for us to have confidence in follow through on this, we're going to need the trend change. So no FOMO, wait for a daily higher low. That's the traditional approach. If you can't resist and you want to get just a little piece to see if maybe we do like this, where we just V-shape off. This is the less likely scenario. We can certainly say with confidence that's the less likely scenario, but we see the less likely scenario play out all the time. So if you're feeling FOMO and you want to protect against something like that, and we can actually look here, same thing, less likely scenario. Not by any means insinuating that I think that that is what we have going on here, but say you want to protect against the potential that we don't get daily consolidation for a while, and that's when you try to make a short time frame entry, small time frame entry, and see how long that can stick. So right now in the 15-minute, we've got a nice 15-minute EMA rider. I mean, if you're buying up here, you're definitely playing with fire, given that we're overbought on these time frames. But you can try a smaller time frame, high or low, get some risk out of the equation, put your stop in place, and see if things do just continue to ascend. So me personally, I'd generally rather just miss a move than kind of make a anti-FOMO entry, but that's something I'm trying to work on in terms of like, what are you really risking? Say you say you're waiting for an hourly high or low, got this hourly uptrend, anything over 49.14, it's going to be an hourly high or low. Say you wait, try for 5-minute oversold into hourly 12 EMA, get your risk out of the equation. Maybe the show goes on. If it doesn't, we do get that daily consolidation underway, you stop out and then you go with the more conservative approach of looking for that daily higher low. So that's what we're working with here at this point. We are nearing 4-hour overbought. So again, kind of playing with fire, looking for entries up here, but it's kind of like you can play with fire if you have your fire retardant gloves on, and it's not a big deal. And that is essentially your stop loss of ensuring that you're not just like buying up here and then riding down to new lows. But at this point, if we were to not form a daily high or low due to the size of the bounce, it's the most likely scenario by a good bit. And if that were to not happen, we'd need increasing bear volume. So to go back and look at the bottom a little bit and talk about last stream. Last stream was, let's see, like right in here when we were just getting the 40K flush. And the whole shtick was, one, this isn't really looking like the snapback bottom that bulls would want to see. But two, it was the hourly 12 EMA is our guide. Bulls aren't proving anything until they get over hourly 12 EMA, and it ended up being a picture perfect EMA rider play where you're rejecting from resistance, you're rejecting from resistance, you're rejecting from resistance, you get through, and then you fish the low, look for the trend change, and look for the momentum shift to be on. So if you're not familiar with the EMA rider play, there's a playlist on our YouTube channel called Joey Webinars. And at the end of the second webinar, there's some talk about the EMA rider play. Very simple, very effective, and just very straightforward. So that worked out well here. And that's a big part of what trading is. It's about determining, okay, what is our status quo and what would change that status quo? And if that status quo is changing, does that mean that we're starting to look the other way? And that's traditionally what it is. So you can go about it two ways. You can say, okay, our status quo is an hourly downtrend with hourly 12 EMA resistance. And with that, you can be taking shorts off of that. And it works until it doesn't. It works until it doesn't. And then once you get up and over, then you can say, okay, well, now it's time to start looking for longs. So both sides of the team can, not the team, Bulls and Bears aren't a team. Both sides of the playing field can utilize these EMA riders to either be continuing playing with the trend or looking for that counter trend momentum shift. So that's what we got going on Bitcoin here. As far as resistances, let's see, are we through that? We got 42.2 and pretty much a double top there. We can probably see it better on like a 4-hour. We got this little guy here. And then after that, we're just looking up at 42.9 and 43.6 as our next resistances. Then there's pretty much a lack up until the highs here. So what bulls want to do here, we know we're holding weekly 12 EMA and that's all good, but they want to see a strong enough weekly bounce beyond the 0.5 retrace of the move from here to here to decrease the odds that bears could confirm a weekly downtrend. We know everything's groovy if weekly 12 EMA is holding, if weekly uptrend remains intact, but if bears were going to show something, they would need to take us down here. So we can put the fib on it just to visualize that and get our number. So 43,451 is the magic number there. Bulls want to bounce over that so that even if we do set a lower high compared to 48,969, which I would not be shocked if that happened due to the 21% pullback, but we can form that lower high, and it's not doom and gloom for bulls because you create enough room to hopefully still hold weekly 12 EMA. You know, that'll print out like that. You can get the lower high, hold weekly 12 EMA again, and then hope to continue to break out from there. So that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Let's go on through some other names. So the big news, I would say, is that ETH BTC is melting down. We were talking the bull case and the bear case on ETH, and the bear case was this is going to be a rejection from these freshly crossed monthly EMAs, and the short stint of relative strength would remain short. The bull case was that bulls are going to get a weekly uptrend and see follow through and try to get a quarterly bounce underway. But at this point, looking at the weekly, we've retraced more than half of this move up, and that creates room for a weekly lower high for bears. And where everything changed was when we lost the daily 12 EMA. We were saying, can't knock on the bulls as long as daily 12 EMA is support. And they tried to defend it. There was a bit of a bounce off of it. But as soon as we rolled back over, it's been all bears, and that is clear relative weakness for ETH USD. So talking about the status quo and determining what is our guide that we can just keep things nice and simple for establishing what the status quo is. And on ETH BTC, it's the 4-hour 12 EMA at this point. So if bulls don't get over 4-hour 12 EMA, nothing is changing, and ETH remains relatively weak compared to BTC. When we get over 4-hour 12 EMA, we'll just be looking for a daily lower high. And this is another good example of the importance of trend changes. This was a beastie move, but we never even got a daily uptrend. Never even got a daily uptrend. So ETH is in the doghouse for now, and you can see it on the daily chart here when we look at this little dinky bounce that just got underway today, and you compare that to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's bounce got underway 3 days ago and is now, what percentage? Almost 10% off of the low, and ETH is 5.39. So not going to lose track that we are testing weekly 12 EMA, but at this point, I would say, even though we're holding the EMA, because of how extended we were and how quick we came back, I would not be shocked at all if we get a weekly lower high compared to 27.17 next bounce. So just like Bitcoin, bulls are going to need to regain a daily uptrend to try to get a weekly higher low set. But at this point, this is a daily bear flag. This is a daily bear flag. So we can zoom in, just pitter-pattering around at the lows. We've got a 4-hour uptrend as the guide for the daily bounce, and anything over 21.95 going to be a 4-hour higher low. And that is that. So bigger picture, we know weekly 12 EMA is our guide for bull health. We know that's the case on many alts and Bitcoin itself. So here we are testing it. Are we going to get an ETH BTC bounce and ETH is going to play some catch up? I think that's certainly a possibility. Let's check some RSI levels. So I mean, we're just crushed on the 4-hour. 12 hours hitting oversold on ETH BTC. You know, I won't be surprised when a bounce comes. We're kind of getting like super stack levels where we probably got everything right now. Oh, 5 minutes not, but 15-minute is crushed, hourly's crushed, 4 hours crushed, 12 hours oversold. So it won't be shocking when we see the ETH BTC bounce, but just like we were talking with Bitcoin, hourly 12 EMA guide on the move down, and when we get up and over that, that's the first sign of some shift. You didn't need to nail the bottom on Bitcoin to get the bulk of this move up. You won't need to nail the bottom on ETH BTC to get some upside if we get a good bounce here, because we're still going to be looking for a weekly high or low. There's just zero sign of it yet. Bulls still have a ton of room to work with. But if that shapes up, then that would be ETH, playing some catch up. We'd look up to daily EMAs and see if they can create enough room to try for a daily trend change. So looking at LTC, it's looking like we might get the situation we were talking about where we knew we had a daily equilibrium, and if that broke bear, that'd be weekly consolidation underway, but then it wouldn't be shocking to see a weekly equilibrium from there. So not a lot's going on LTC as long as we're kind of in this sideways range. We got quarterly inside bars, and the question is, do we get a quarterly high or low set, or do we break the 2023 lows and head back down to look at 40.32? So daily bounce underway, and anything below 72.67 going to be a daily lower high. And if bulls want to regain some mojo, same deal as everybody else, got to regain a daily uptrend. So that is the big three. Let's look around at some other coins here. So Sol USD, we knew we had our daily EQ, and we said if the daily EQ breaks bear, it's not ideal for bulls, but as long as they hold, you guessed it, the weekly 12 EMA. Come on, TradingView, there it is. As long as we hold weekly 12 EMA, bulls are chilling. And we came down 12-hour oversold into weekly 12 EMA, and now we've got quite the bounce off of the lows. So same deal as Bitcoin. Bulls are going to need to regain a daily uptrend from here to get a weekly high or low set. Also could draw a falling wedge on here. Let's see how we want to draw it. Probably something like that. Something like that. Just visual guides there, but we can see the lower lows not seeing follow through, showing that bears don't really have much. So looking for that weekly higher low on Sol USD. So going to need that trend change. And let's see here. Give me just a second. Doing another shout out. Sorry. From the chat room here. We're looking at Tuesday, January 23rd. Sol first 12-hour oversold since it was $17. So after a 630% move up, definitely entering here, looking for the weekly higher low. And that's 7:18 a.m. on Tuesday, January 23rd. And here we are on that candle, and he drilled it. So shout out to Saru for not letting the fear sneak in and sticking to the text. So excellent play there. Let's look at the 4-hour. Don't really have clarity here. I'm going to stick with the 12-hour uptrend as our guide. Maybe you could look at it on the 8-hour if you want a little more detail. And I'm going to use that as the guide for the daily bounce at this point. That would need to be lost to get a daily lower high set, get daily consolidation in their way, and then we'll see if bulls can confirm a daily uptrend. So Link, another one, playing out our most likely scenarios. We knew that a weekly lower high compared to 1767 was the most likely scenario. That is now set. And now the big question is, can bulls regain a weekly uptrend to quickly set a monthly high or low and have us looking at a monthly bull flag? So if we go into the daily, the size of the next daily bounce will be really telling, because if bears keep the daily bounce weak and then confirm a daily downtrend, that's going to decrease the odds that bulls can get a weekly uptrend from here. If bulls bounce big enough to create room for a daily high or low, that'll increase the odds that we can get that weekly uptrend reconfirmed from here. So certainly still weak at the moment. Stair step down, technically popped here today by a skosh, but hardly convincing on that bounce at this point. So I'd say this is not a 4-hour uptrend. If we want to see a daily bounce play on out, going to need a clear 4-hour higher low and higher high. You could probably look at this like an inverse head and shoulders, something like that. So that's what we're looking at on Link. And let's pop through a few more here. So TIA, we know it's one of our blue sky bulls. We know we're looking for a weekly higher low, and we have bulls trying to see a higher low and higher high here on the daily. And if that were to happen, that would be the first sign that that weekly higher low is shaping on up. So zooming into the 4-hour, we do have bears playing some defense at 17 psychological. And honestly, that's what bulls would like to see. It sounds counterintuitive, but you don't want to just blow through resistance from a deep retrace like this. You would like to cool things off a little bit and perhaps do a cup and handle where you've got your cup and your handle and then confirm that bull flag. So that's one route. That'd be the strongest look for bulls here and most sustainable compared to just busting up through here. The other option is just a good old EQ. If we were to pull back and continue to tighten up like that, then we'd say if this EQ breaks bull, we got a weekly higher low shaping up. If it breaks bear, then bears maintain their control there. So trader's going to be looking for 4-hour higher lows on TIA USD. And we know that paying attention to blue sky bulls is important because they tend to run harder because you have no overhead resistance. So definitely keep an eyes on these blue sky bulls. Let's see, INJ kind of just chilling sideways here, but bulls will absolutely take it. If we look at like the 3-day time frame, big move up, sideways, sideways, healthy, sideways, and then break it. So big move up, sideways, healthy, sideways. So I mean, it's a bit weaker here. There's no doubt about that. Only just getting the daily bounce underway, so it's a bit weaker. But are we going to see the relative weakness shift to relative strength as bulls defend 29.21? Time will tell, but I'm just going to continue to treat this like a equilibrium at this point. And you don't have to position within it. You can just kind of wait for a breakout and then look for a shorter time frame higher low if you don't want to just take the preemptive positioning there. But definitely on watch. We got SEI trying to form a quick weekly higher low, and this looks a lot like TIA, where we're just getting this little daily uptrend confirming here at this point. So the weekly higher low isn't quite set yet because we got to break the high of the previous weekly candle, which at this point it is all the way up at 87.51. So that's more likely something that would need to happen after Sunday when we get a new weekly candle and we'd be breaking the high of this candle next candle. So keep an eyes on that. And yeah, RNDR is still trying for that weekly higher low, just sideways here. Ultimately going to need to get up through this double top at 440 and 437. If anything's going to shift here, got to regain a daily uptrend. We have a daily downtrend at this point, or we've had the daily downtrend for a while, but bulls unable to break that to the upside. So still keeping eyes here as long as we're holding weekly 12 EMA. And those are some bullish looks. Let's see, OP, similar. Another one, weekly 12 EMA, strong bounce off of it. Gonna need a daily uptrend confirmed to see that happen, but creating enough room for a daily higher low compared to 261 next consolidation. So those are bull looks. If you want to hedge some stuff out or you're looking bear, you're looking to alts that have already lost weekly 12 EMA that will be looking for weekly lower highs. So Matic, anything below 109 is going to be a weekly lower high next bounce. And this one we know we're in this like quarterly tightening range. So kind of looking for that quarterly lower high. You can view it on the monthly as well. And bears will be scouting weekly lower highs on Matic. AXS, lots of room for a weekly lower high compared to 1115. Still like technically holding weekly EMAs, but to get to higher highs off of the lows would be 66%. So it seems like the less likely scenario to me. So weekly lower high scout there. Uni, similar deal, weekly lower high scout compared to 826. Theta, you get the picture. ETC, this one, we're still holding weekly 12 EMA, but kind of like AXS, 50% to go to higher highs. Seems like the less likely scenario. And that is that. AAVE, weekly lower high compared to 129 going to be on deck. Atom, there's not a shortage. GMT, there's not a shortage of these plays. So if you're looking, if you're long Bitcoin and you want to have some bearish exposure, you're looking for the alts that have let us know that they're weaker than peers at this point. So GMT, this is a potential weekly head and shoulders to get some monthly consolidation underway off the monthly 12 EMA. So that's quite a nice setup there. And anything below 44.95 going to be a weekly lower high next bounce. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Well, one thing to point out here, if we look at Mara, we are getting clues from the crypto mining stocks. We're getting clues for Bitcoin from them. Mara topped out before Bitcoin, and it ended up bottoming out before Bitcoin here as well. So it's leading the way. So we need to continue to keep our eyes on that and use that for clues. So Mara bottomed out on Friday the 19th. We look at Bitcoin Friday the 19th, we're still here. We had another full leg down. And we know for, let's go back tomorrow, for this pullback, it's like relatively weak compared to Bitcoin. And then this is when things shifted. And you've got Bitcoin flush into lower lows and Mara still just hanging tight. Like this Wednesday, 24th of January candle, that is, let's see, no, that was this one here. So kind of funky because Bitcoin was actually going up for that. But this Monday candle, I think is the made it abundantly clear that, okay, well, miners are trying to base on out because look at that Bitcoin candle. And we go to Mara and that's what it was doing there. So keeping eyes on that. If we see the crypto stocks top on out, then, maybe Bitcoin's daily bounce is looking to top on out. So yeah, that's that. Let's check in on Bitcoin in the short term. It's just got this 15-minute 12 EMA support. So if that's lost, that would be some hourly consolidation getting underway. Then we'll zoom out to the hourly 12 EMA. If that's lost, 4-hour consolidation getting underway. We'll look to the 4-hour 12 EMA. So let's see what y'all are looking at. Hello. Mr. Jonathan Down. You want the daily crypto streams public? If I had unlimited energy and time, sir, I would love to. We all miss you in the chart guys. A member, Mal, was posting a picture of his horse in the community channel yesterday, and I was thinking about you. I miss seeing your farm pics. Let's take a look at SUI. SUI USDT. We'll zoom on out a little bit. We are nearing resistance, that $2 resistance. I mean, we're still a good bit away, but that's the main guy overhead here. And, that may even kind of be like pseudo blue sky because that's just that listing candle. I mean, it's not blue sky. We're keeping eyes on it still, but we're just continuing to grind up. I think this was a 3-day 12 EMA rider. Not the cleanest, but it is still riding that. We've just got this uptrend remaining intact. And as long as these higher lows remain intact on SUI, then bulls just maintain their control. It's not quite a weekly stair step. So this is when I like to use more like obscure time frames, like the 3-day or something like that. And you've got a lot of clarity on the 3-day. So that makes key support pretty much $1 psychological. And at this point, what a move. What a move off this low just in a couple days, 43%. So we are testing 145 and double top right now at this point. So if we were to reject their potential cup and handle, maybe like on the 12-hour, yeah, you could probably look at it on a bunch of different time frames. But if we reject and get the clear double top, form a bull flag, that would be the cup and handle type setup. And if not, we're just looking back down to 1 psychological and just going to trust the trend. Like crypto, it's so powerful to just trust the trend because these stinkers go further than you can anticipate. That's like the nature of the beast, and that's what makes crypto beautiful. But you'll never catch a 300% move if you're not willing to sit through what ends up being healthy consolidation. You just got to determine that it does remain healthy. You don't have wildly increasing bear volume. That's one of the main things that will be like an early sign that things are starting to look a little messed up there. So hourly stair steps straight to the heavens. We've got not even testing 15-minute 12 EMA, so we got 5-minute 12 EMA rider. That would need to be lost to start to shape up some hourly consolidation, and we'll be watching responses to oversold conditions. And this is on all of these names. So Sol, Bitcoin, they're not like back burners, but you can still get information from how those oversold conditions respond. And if bulls snap up the first 5-minute oversold conditions and go to new highs, then that tells us like, okay, we've got a good deal of interest here. So that is that. Revy, what up? What up? Sage looking like the garden variety BTC bull market weekly 12 EMA test before the next big leg up. Yeah, you know, like I was just saying, these things love to just ride their trends and keep on going. So at this point, things are healthy on Bitcoin. What would it take for them to get unhealthy? Weekly lower high and lower low, or of course, not setting the weekly higher low. And if we were to just bleed back down from there. But we can say that the low here now at 38.555K is a very key support, because if we lose that, that'll be monthly consolidation shaping on up. We got a handful of days left in the month, and looking like a doji is going to be shaping up. You know, we'll see. A lot can change in a few days, but that's not a bullish candle. So we're keeping our mind open that maybe we do get some monthly consolidation, but it's not just going to click and be there. Bears would need to confirm a weekly downtrend. So that's what we'll be watching, and that's why this 38.5 is so important from here. And, you know, if that were to happen and we were to roll back over and go down, we would be looking for daily oversold. So we were talking last stream, I believe, about daily oversold and how it ideally we'd get daily oversold with the monthly 12 EMA, because in the strongest uptrends, daily oversolds marking your monthly higher low. But with how things were set up, it was not at all viable, because the EMA was far away from oversold conditions. But now at this point, you know, it's a little more viable there. If bears were to show on up and bring us down, that's the next thing we'd be looking for, and that would be a back burner. All right. Dave C says needs to break resistance that it's at today, and the run will start. Yeah, you know, you gotta be we got to be mindful of these RSI levels. Like, we are testing resistance, but when you break resistance in extended conditions, it's kind of difficult to see follow through. So when you do that, you know, it opens up the door for bears to try to go for like a look above and fail play, because your RSI tells you that it's unlikely to see that follow through. So, you know, bulls are just chilling. It's going to be about the 4-hour uptrend. If we see healthy 4-hour consolidation, then bulls are going to look to continue going. But we know it won't be shocking when we see daily consolidation. We technically broke daily lower high resistance, 41.9K, we'll call it. It was just a total dinker. I wouldn't argue with someone if they said 43.6K is our daily resistance, but either way, we know we're going to need the daily uptrend to have the utmost confidence in follow through from here. So once we're already almost 10% off the lows and at overbought conditions and multiple time frames, it's you know, a riskier time to be like looking bullish, I suppose. You know, I mean, obviously we're looking bullish. Bulls are in full control right now, but you want to make sure that you're protecting any like new positions up here, because it won't be shocking to see daily consolidation. It's part of a healthy chart. You got to go through all the motions if you want to have confidence in moves. And the perfect example is ETH BTC. Amazing move, lots of upside. But if you want to have confidence in the sustainability, you need trend changes. So daily higher low scout on Bitcoin. Let's see, Alan Stevens. Yeah, definitely a nice bounce after a nice pullback. And this is why it's kind of cool to be a bull. I mean, I've played bearish plenty of times, but you know, huge pullback off the top, 21%. And then now we've got this bounce, which comparatively looks a lot smaller than the pull down, but it's nearly half of the percentage gains. I mean, the game is rigged for the bulls, just systemically with how numbers work, and how if you're short, the most you can get is 100%, and if you're long, you can get 100%, you know, very easily. Let's see, interested in how much separation we get post 42.5K. I don't know. what that means, my friend. Let's see, 42.5. Are you wondering if we break 42.5, if that lights us off? I mean, maybe. No one knows. And on that note, you know, the clickbaity title that I got of is the bottom in? Spoiler alert, no one knows. But we can work with probabilities. And if we want to more confidently be able to say the bottom's in, then we need that daily trend change. Just by using our eyeballs and our brains, we can say, yeah, you know, a bottom's in. We're 10% off of the low, but will it stick? That's what no one knows. So sorry for the clickbait. We'll keep moving. Let's see, Manta USDT. Manta USDT. I have not heard of this one yet. Let's see what we got. We got a baby. We got a baby on the line. So nice monthly candle. We're looking for a straight move. Weekly, we've got just our second weekly candle. Daily, we're slinking on up. Just keep zooming in, see if we can get some clarity on something somewhere. We got like a 12-hour uptrend. 12-hour uptrend, 12-hour higher low is at 283. We'll just keep going though, see if we get a different perspective that offers anything more valuable. Yeah, I think the 12-hour, we'll just stick with that. So 12-hour is the bigger picture guide for this move up. And in the short term, as we scout 12-hour consolidation, next, we've got an hourly uptrend. So as long as the hourly uptrend remains intact, no 12-hour consolidation is shaping up. Once we get 12-hour consolidation, as long as bulls hold 283.6 and they maintain full control, if we lose that, then that would, a little difficult with this wick down here. It's only a penny though, so we'll treat that as one daily move up. And if we were to lose the 12-hour uptrend from here, that'd be daily consolidation. We'd be looking for a daily higher low compared to 220. So blue sky, new baby coin. So let's see how volatile this thing is. 62%, pretty volatile. Pretty volatile. And these coins in blue skies, definitely worth keeping eyes on. Worth keeping eyes on. E.R. Berg. Let's see. We'll keep moving. Asbestos hands from Rob Abbott. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're speaking to the diamond hand narrative. So never mind diamond hands. I got asbestos. We're gonna go, but we are going into the weekend. Yeah, asbestos. Good times. I used to do a lot of building maintenance in these like really old buildings where there is a lot of asbestos. So I always kind of enjoyed masking up though, feeling like the Terminator or something like that. Going in with a reciprocating saw, cutting out a bunch of asbestos, making $8 an hour. The American dream, my friends. Awaken to the one. The best gym owner east of the Mississippi is here in the flesh. Thank you for the donation. I'll tell Dan to spend it wisely. Rob brings up a good point. Rob Abbott here. Not sure I would hold any of the miners over the weekend. That's always going to be the case. Whether it's overnight or over the weekend, you're subject to what Bitcoin is doing. And we can look at just like this daily gap up. If you were shorting this as a bear, you're chilling. You're like, oh, daily bear flag. Everything's groovy. And then you gap up 6%. Right to your resistance essentially, and it's tough. So I only would want to be swinging options personally, just because your risk is capped there with that. What else we got? If BTC legs down over the weekend, yikes. Yeah, man, that's the less likely scenario at this point. That is the less likely scenario. We would need increasing bull volume or bear volume if we were to leg down to new lows below 38,555. At this point, we could pull back 8% and still hold that support. And if we look at this move off of the top, the first day of the actual sell the news. I mean, it started a day earlier, but this is a 7.67% candle. So it would take some volume if we were going to go to new lows. What else we got here? Looking at ADA. ADA USDT. So ADA is kind of one of our weaker coins. We got bulls clinging to weekly 12 EMA, but I'd say bears starting to create room for a weekly lower high compared to 68 cents. If bulls are going to get their mojo back, they're going to need to regain a daily uptrend. We've got daily 12 EMA resistance as the guide. Didn't quite get there last time, but just going to let that be the guide. We do have lower lows without follow through at this point, but not an inspiring bounce. Could potentially be a bear flag still. Bull's going to need to push over daily 12 EMA and then regain a daily uptrend. That'll get your weekly bounce underway. You'll watch your daily uptrend as your guide. And if we lose the daily uptrend below 68 cents, and that's a weekly lower high being set. And the big question, just what we were talking about with Bitcoin, what's your retracement size? Do we get over half of this move down to keep bulls from, or keep bears from being able to confirm a downtrend on the weekly? Or do we, let me get rid of these lines, or do we see a weekly bounce and then a weekly downtrend confirmed, get some monthly consolidation underway, and then be looking for a monthly higher low? So size of the next weekly bounce going to be crucial. And there's really no signs that it's shaping up at this point. Just dinking on down. Anything below 52.05 going to be a daily lower high. All right. You're looking for the 8 hour and the daily. Yeah, 8 hour, we got a little 8 hour uptrend. That can be the guide for that daily bounce. Anything over 45.85 can be an 8 hour high or low. 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour really doesn't have the clarity, so I like the 8 hour as well. Here, we'll just watch that 8 hour uptrend as our guide. Looks like 12 hour 12 EMA has been acting as resistance. We're testing it again here now. So bulls want to get over that to go ahead and try to challenge the daily 12 EMA. Cheeky Scarecrow, good morning, Australian friend. Happy days to you. All right, looking at KUJI. Well, it's been a minute since I've looked at this one. Oof, we are chilling down weak. So monthly time frame. Maybe some monthly consolidation looking to shape up here. You know, it wouldn't be shocking after a nearly 1,000% move since our last monthly higher low. And we're starting to see the scene set for how that could happen. That could be a weekly head and shoulders. Not the best drawing there, but you get the picture. If bears get one more leg down here, maybe to like 295 or something, then I'd say they'd confidently be creating room for that weekly lower high. And we'd see if that would confirm to give us that monthly consolidation. As far as this move down, got 12 hour 12 EMA as the guide. So bears maintain full control of weekly consolidation as long as 12 hour 12 EMA and daily. I mean, you know, 12 hours is going to be a closer signal, but really the daily is what's going to have to get breached by bulls. But we've got our daily EMAs crossing bearish for the first time in a long time. Pretty much, you know, they crossed bull, we got that 1,000% move, and now they're crossed bear here. So is this previously lead bull going to cool off while some other coins get their shot? Time will tell, but I'm just liking that 12 hour 12 EMA. Daily lower highs, so daily lower high resistance is 362.74. That would need to break to start to shape up a weekly higher low, and then we'd look to see can bears form a weekly lower high compared to 558. If that doesn't happen, then bulls just keep the show on the road. But you know, confirming a weekly bull flag without follow through is often the first sign that you're getting a pivot on a larger time frame. Sui hourly stair step. Man, I don't know what the deal is, but this YouTube chat has been very glitchy for me. It's making it difficult. Sui USDT. Yeah, I think we just spoke about this. That's not the one I wanted to look at. Yeah, we spoke about this at the beginning of the request downstairs on Sui today. Beautiful hourly stair step. Definitely getting torqued. Probably nearing historic hourly overbought. Yeah, we're getting into that band there. And we can see this is the beauty of historical RSI levels. We can just, let's just zoom into it. Since we set this new high back in September, we have bounced or topped from this zone 3 more times, one being a perfect touch of that all-time high. So here we are back in that zone. Hourly consolidation will not be shocking when it comes, but got to lose the 5-minute 12 EMA if that's going to begin to shape on up. All right, INJ for squirrel funds. So INJ, I spoke about it at the beginning of the stream here. So just kind of viewing this as a tightening range, and the big question will be, can bulls hold weekly 12 EMA, keep the show on the road, kind of, get a big move up, go sideways, and then try to get another move up. So we're up and we're going sideways. This was up and sideways. So bulls will take sideways, especially after a massive move like that. 609%, and you're holding on to gains sideways. That's very chill. But if you lose 29.21 in weekly 12 EMA, that's when it becomes less chill. So getting over 12-hour 12 EMA at this point. Daily bounce underway, but anything below 37.34 going to be a daily lower high. Bulls going to need to regain a daily uptrend, and that's that. That is that. So definitely some more talk about INJ earlier in the stream there. Let's see, for Mr. Revy, Sats? The heck is that? Sats USDT. What the heck is that? It's another baby coin. This is not the babyest baby, but only been trading since November. Weekly consolidation underway. We know that anything over 1192 would be a weekly high or low, and bulls getting a nice daily bounce underway. A little bit of a volume climax there on that low, and this thing I'm assuming is super volatile. Yeah, 36%. So bulls going to need to regain a daily uptrend. We've had a daily downtrend since back here, whole way down. And anything below 54.23 going to be a daily lower high. And if we want to get the weekly higher low set, got to get that daily uptrend. So in the shorter term, we are hourly stair stepping. Lots of room for an hourly higher low, and probably 15-minute 12 EMA as our guide. Lose 15-minute 12 EMA. That'll be that hourly consolidation looking to shape on up. Looking to shape on up. CFX USDT. Another one I haven't looked at. So this is not a baby. This is a toddler of a coin. We got a monthly bounce underway. Anything below 48.76 going to be a monthly lower high. We've got kind of just pitter-pattering on the weekly here. Not a lot of clarity. Sideways range. Bulls need to break it to the upside to see more monthly bounce. If it breaks to the downside, that is our monthly lower high shaping on up. We have got a huge day today, only more like 20%, and rocketing off these lows. So the way to play balance ranges is ultimately you short the highs, you long the lows, and it works until it doesn't. So we got resistance here at 23.61, going to be pretty extended testing it, and that's what you want for top fish opportunities. So nice hourly stair step or 4-hour stair step. And hourly stair step as well, hourly 12 EMA. So we can say bulls have tight control of hourly 12 EMA support. And that is that. If we lose that, we'll have some 4-hour consolidation underway. And we'll look to see, do we stay within this range, or can bulls break it on out and see a little more monthly bounce follow through. But not going to lose track that that lower high is the most likely scenario, but it's also like 100% away, 117% away. So no doubt potential for continued opportunity there, but not a lot of clarity for me. Like, I would rather play a coin that has clarity than a coin that doesn't have clarity. And just that's simply, let's see, we got Nightbot deleting someone's comment that said, "Hey guys." How dare you speak like that, Lord? Good heavens, did your mother not raise you? Let me see what your second message was. Sorry about getting nuked by the Nightbot. Thanks for participating in the chat, friend. Better luck next time. Oh, I think it did both of you because you said balls long. Sometimes it'd be like that. So Lord is long Bitcoin at 38K. And yeah, no, I was just joking, man. I was just joking. All I saw was the "hey guys" that got nuked. I was wondering what Nightbot was about. But glad to hear that you got a nice 38K BTC position. That is nice, and you raised your stop up to these lows, so now your stop, I'm assuming, is just in profit, and if this is a weekly higher low, you're cruising. You are cruising. All right. Sui, more Sui talk. I'm gonna look at, what was it called? There's a guy who's been asking for 30 cents something. Honey USDT. Honey USDT. Is that it? Yeah, we'll do Honey USDT on CoinEx. It's been at like every other non-crypto stream and in the videos asking about it. I said, come to the stream and request it, but surprise mystery YouTube user, you didn't even have to request it. So we got another baby here, roughly 5 weeks old, and we're looking for a weekly higher low compared to 22.7. So as far as your question of, are we going to get back to 30 before melting into the earth? You know, that's, no one really knows that stuff. And anybody who tells you that they do know that stuff is fooling themselves and fooling you. So we have a very clear base of support that bulls are defending here. And we've got a little probably 12-hour equilibrium, low, high, higher low, lower high. And this would need to break bull to be step one of a weekly higher low shaping up. But then due to the depth of the pullback, we'll be looking for a weekly lower high. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing just EQ from here. As far as going to lower lows, you know, that is 50% away. Not too much for a baby coin, not too much ground for a baby to cover. But yeah, biggest thing is we'll be looking for a lower high compared to whatever this is, 57. So got to get through this 22, 33, 68 to get that bounce underway. And if you are looking for this to go to the core of the earth, you're looking for that weekly lower high. So what it would most likely look like is, you know, you get a bull break and you have a daily uptrend, and then you would like lose the daily uptrend, and that would be your weekly lower high, and then you'd be looking for that to just go backwards. It's so bearish. And you know, that was a joke. That was a joke. The TA wasn't a joke. The backwards, it's so bearish, because I mean it's not a strong looking chart, but I don't see any evidence that at this point that like lower lows is the most likely scenario. But I don't do predictions and stuff. We get new information every day, so the way I see it is I'm looking to utilize that new information that we get every day and not force myself to stick to a bias or a decision that I established when I had way less information and data, and then just stick to that because that's what I want to stick to. I want to see what the volume looks like. How impulsive is the move? All of these things, we get that info every day. And then that helps determine probabilities, because if we bounce over halfway of this pullback, you know, say to like that, then odds are going to decrease that bears can confirm a daily downtrend, or a weekly downtrend, excuse me. So bulls want to get over the 0.5 retrace to fend that off. Bears want to keep it below the 0.5 if they want to try to confirm a weekly downtrend. But you know, it's tough to do too much macro analysis on babies because they're babies, and that's that. But still would anticipate a weekly higher low compared to 22.7. All right, y'all. No worries, Lord. Again, happy that you're happy. Happy you got a stop in profit, and we'll see what this does. If these lows are lost, that will be a glaring red flag for Bitcoin. That will be a glaring red flag for Bitcoin. Looking to see if we can get a daily uptrend to get a weekly bounce underway. Then we'll trust the daily uptrend as the guide for the weekly bounce. Let's check our 15-minute 12 EMA. Potentially being lost here. It's feeling some pressure, but the hourly stair step remains intact. Once we lose that, we'll look to 5-minute oversold, look to hourly 12 EMA, and see just how strong bulls are. All right, Paisley talking about some pot stocks. You know, Dan's making a weed video this either tonight or this weekend, so he'll talk a lot more about that. So we'll keep this crypto. And Terabyte already did ADA. Actually, I am kind of curious. Take a quick peek at CGC. In CGC, you've got to know that it is in a dilution death spiral. So if we get news and whatnot, it'll hype around with everybody else. This could be a daily inverse head and shoulders. Bulls need to regain a daily uptrend to shift any mojo. Anything over 426 is going to be a daily higher low, but very weak. When you see the Canadian names doing that, while the US names are doing that, that just tells you where the focus is right now. So like, could Canadian names be laggards? Sure. Do you need to nail the bottom to profit off of that? No, you don't. So I would wait for some strength to come in. I mean, Tilray weak, very weak. Daily equilibrium testing support. So got to get a daily uptrend if anything's going to change. Do you need to nail the bottom to profit on these? Nope, you do not. And right now they're telling us that they're stinkers. All right, everybody. Let's see, last one for Revy, looking at near wicked above the weekly EMA at the last second. Yeah, it's trying to hold it. It is trying to hold it. You know, not wildly wildly different from Bitcoin. It pulled it down a little bit further than Bitcoin, but you know, wicks below these EMAs. The ideal is like Sol, where it just, you know, dings it so perfectly. But near trying to hold it on, and like everybody else, got to get the daily uptrend from here. So create enough room for the higher low, but can bulls hold 245 and then go back up and break this bounce high to get the daily uptrend, get a weekly higher low set? Time will tell. All right. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Let's see if the volatility continues through the weekend. You know, the last couple weekends have been pretty quiet. But with all of this volatility that we've got here today, I would anticipate that we continue to see some activity into the weekend. So take care, enjoy your weekend, stay safe out there, and I will see you at the next stream.